So I did my research plan on the Colin Kaepernick Nike ad campaign. My research question was, I'm trying to measure how Nike's Colin Kaepernick ad campaign affected its brand image with its target demographic of 15 to 40-year-olds, either in a positive, negative, or neutral way. So how Nike releasing such a controversial ad, like the effect that it had on its brand image with its target demographic, and whether or not that its demographic thought that that was an appropriate thing to do, or how they feel about brands like coming out and stepping out on social or political issues. My literature review, Nike released the ad titled Dream Crazy in September. Immediately after the release, the response was quick, and on the surface it seemed negative. The ad was almost immediately trending on Twitter. People threatened a boycott, and some destroyed their Nike gear. President Trump also chimed in by tweeting Nike was getting absolutely killed with anger and boycotts. Nike Nike seemed to have weighed the risk of the controversial ad, but ultimately, because Nike's core customer base is young, urban, and belief-driven buyers, they believed that the positive outcome would outweigh the negative. A recent poll found that 2/3 of consumers say it's important for brands to take public stands on social or political issues, and Nike's total brand exposure since releasing the ad was more than $160 million. Within the first 72 hours of releasing the ad, people mentioned the brand on social media more than 5.2 million times, and online sales of Nike gear jumped 31% from September 2nd to September 4th, immediately after releasing the ad. My methodology, I chose to do a survey to conduct my research. I think a survey would be the best because Nike's customer base and target demographic is so large that a survey would be the most effective, and because the ad was more controversial and I want to know how its target demographic feels about releasing a controversial ad. I think the anonymity of a survey would allow for the most honest answers. I'd like my survey to receive about 35,000 responses, and I would send it out through Nike's newsletter list, and as an incentive for people to fill it out, they'd receive a 10% off coupon upon completion. Some examples of my survey questions would be, how important is it for you to have brands speak out on social or political issues, 1 being the least important and 5 being the most important. I thought it would be important to understand where Nike's target demographic is, or what social media platforms that they use most, and then going off of that, seeing if they saw the ad on their social media platforms and they saw how other people reacted, whether or not that impacted their perception of the ad. I thought it'd be important to know if the ad campaign made you more inclined to purchase Nike products, and if they reposted the ad on any of their social media platforms, and also if the ad encouraged them to have a conversation either online or in person with their friends or family, because ultimately I think that's a huge point of advertisements, is to get people talking about your brand and to encourage that human interaction. My reflection, I think there's always one thing that I'm worried about doing the survey is obviously that there's always the chance of not receiving the amount of responses that you want back, or responses that actually will benefit you. Also, by doing the 10% off coupon, there's obviously the risk of people just skipping through the survey to get the coupon, or not truthfully answering the questions. I think the research, or the results of my research, would give Nike some insight as to whether it's beneficial to take a public stand on political or social issues. That's not something that we see a lot of brands do. But from some of the study that I read in the literature review, most consumers think that's important for brands that they follow to talk out or speak out on political or social issues. So I think that this is a good opportunity for Nike to see how their target demographic responded to that, and see what other kind of content that consumers are interested in. I also think that it gives Nike an opportunity to see how controversial or buzzworthy content will affect their business. So when Nike released this ad campaign, they were lucky and they did get like a more positive, and their stocks increased and um, their online sales increased. But I think that it's a good opportunity for other brands too to see, like, take that into consideration and see if that's a good opportunity for them too.